Everybody hear me all right?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta work with this mic here. Look at you all! Out in the rain, out in the pain, right?
Yeah.
High five the person next to you. Do it now. Fist bump the person behind you. I want to see you do it. That's right, you got it. Show me what solidarity looks like. Show me what solidarity looks like.
This is what solidarity looks like.
Show me what solidarity looks like.
This is what solidarity looks like.
Yeah, you got it, you got it. We know why we're all out here, right? We know about these budget cuts, if you can call it a budget. I say bad budgets, no peace. Bad budgets,
No peace.
bad budgets,
No peace.
bad budgets,
No peace.
bad budgets.
No peace.
That's right, that's right. Thank y'all so much for being out here. What a glorious afternoon to see with solidarity. My name is Eric Daigre, and I am a lecturer in the Department of English. Showing up, thanks y'all. Right? I'm also a member of the American Association of University Professors, that's the AAUP. Showing up for us, right? And the AAUP has been running an amazing campaign to improve the working conditions of contingent faculty, right? That's lecturers, that's teaching specialists, that's clinical faculty, that's term faculty. These are all the people that are not professors, right? You know what that means? We don't have living wages, we don't have family sustaining wages, we don't have job security, right?
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
We don't got a lot of things that the tenure track faculty have, but the AAUP is making that happen, and we're really appreciating that. Some of us are on semester-to-semester contracts. Some of us are on year-to-year contracts, and many of us make as little as $6,000 to teach a class at the U. I ask you, is that right? That ain't right.
That ain't right.
In the English department, there are 21 lecturers and teaching specialists. We are 42% of our department's workforce. Yeah, that much. I want to be clear, and I want to express gratitude because our department chair is fighting for lecturers and teaching specialists, right? And all of the CLA chairs are fighting for lecturers and teaching specialists. But you know what? The CLA leadership is not fighting for us. Is that right? That ain't right.
That's right.
I got notes to stack.
I could be like that. I can't do that.
And old school pages. I gotta turn it.
So funny.
Students are asking me and my fellow instructors, I'd love to take another class with you. What classes are you teaching next semester? We say, I don't know what classes we're going to be teaching next semester. I don't even know if we're going to be teaching next semester. Is that right?
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
It's something. In the last week, we've all had students coming up to us saying, I'm studying the Dakota language. Am I going to be able to keep taking classes? I'm studying the Somali language so I can communicate with my grandparents. Are Somali language classes not going to be offered anymore? I'm looking to take the class that my roommate was taking, that cool class in music, that cool class in literature, that cool class in Chicana to Latinx studies. We say, we don't know if that class is going to be offered because all these budget cuts came right when registration started. Is that right?
That ain't right.
That's wrong. That's wrong. Let's talk economics. Yeah? You ready for that? We're all teachers. We're all students. This is the education that the U doesn't want you to have. Let's do it here in our backyard, right? Hey, give it up to the graduate students. They unionized today.
90
As the graduate students have taught us, as the Minnesota Federation of Teachers have taught us, as AFSCME has taught us, and as the Teamsters have taught us, and as SDS and the undergrads have taught us, this is not a budget crisis. What is it?
Distribution.
It's a distribution crisis. It's not a budget crisis. What is it?
Distribution crisis.
The money's there, they're just not spending it right. Right? That's no good. We know that Dean Coleman's annual salary is more than that of 8 full-time CLA instructors who teach 48 classes per year. That's not a budget crisis. What is it?
Distribution crisis.
Yeah, we know that there's 200 U of M administrators that are making more than the governor of Minnesota. That's not a funding crisis. What is it?
Distribution crisis.
Damn right. We know that 35% of CLA's revenue gets clawed back to central administration, but administrators have not used these tithes to bolster instructional spending. That's not a budget crisis. What is it?
Distribution crisis.
We know that instructional spending has declined dramatically at the U in the last 15 years. In 2008, almost 30% of university resources were devoted to instruction, offering students lots of classes and paying teachers to teach them. 30%! But since then, that number hasn't risen above 23%. Right? Even as the U's overall budget has grown and administrators' salaries have soared. That's not a budget crisis. What is it?
Distribution crisis.
We also know, and that's research from our local chapter of the AAUP. We want to make sure that you go and check that out on our website. We also know that the U's endowment is over $3 billion. And that's more than the annual budget of the United Nations. It's not a funding crisis. What is it?
Distribution crisis.
You got that right. Is Provost Rachel Carson here in the audience? No? Oh, I'm sure she just had a scheduling conflict. I know she wants to hear what we have to say. Do y'all like taking action? Yeah, you do, because you're here, right?
That's right.
Let's take a little action. Let's write her an email. Take out your phone. I see some laptops. Thank you very much. There's a little plug-in over there. Take out your phone. We're going to be very polite, very civil. We don't want to scare Provost Croson. And we're going to make a very reasonable ask. Because you know what? Sometimes people in power need to be in a position to do the right thing, right? And to do right by the people. I'm going to read this to you once so you can see where it's going. And then I'll read it slower, sentence by sentence, so you can type it in with your fast fingers. Dear Provost Croson, that is Croson, I want to believe in you. Please go to your central administration colleagues and request full funding of all CLA departments. Central administration needs to invest in the liberal arts. If you succeed, you will have my full trust and support. I'll go through that again. That's where it's going. Dear Provost Croson, again, Croson, I want to believe in you. Please go to your central administration colleagues and request full
got it on
funding
recording.
of all CLA departments. Central administration needs to invest in the liberal arts. If you succeed, you will have my full trust and support. Maybe you can footnote that, add some extra bits too. You can add something about yourself. My name is so-and-so.
Even that.
This is my major. Here's what I'm studying. You can add unique subject line, right? So that all the emails with the same subject line aren't ignored. You know how that works, right?
Personality.
And I'm going to give you Provost Croson's email address, too. R.
The beer in the
What up, Reps? You need to stay here. So it's R. Croson, R-C-R-O-S-O-N,
This provost.
at
you have a
umn.edu.
That's right.
And tell your friends and your colleagues to send a very similar contact, right? Rachel Croson needs to hear from you.
Pass it on.
One last thing here. So the last few days, the CLA leadership has suddenly found $940,000. Y'all notice that? There was a lot of dean explaining, right? A lot of dean explaining about that. It was an accounting error, right? A coding error, right? We know that's because we're showing up, right? We see what public pressure can do, and that's not enough. Don't fall for the PR trick. Don't fall for the dean-splaining, because here's what they're going to try to do. They'll alleviate the most egregious, the most glaring cuts, the ones that are really bad optics for them, right? But that will have the effect of normalizing the other cuts and making them seem like they're less harmful. But this is still an austerity budget. None of these cuts are lesser cuts. All of these cuts are still extreme cuts, and they're not acceptable. All of this has been going on for years. In my department, English, the budget's been cut $400,000 in the last 4 years. That's 1/4 of our budget. Shame! Shame!
Shame!
CLA leadership can't account, and they're not accountable. So I'll wrap up my part with one more chant, and then we march. All right. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say CLA can't account. And here's what you're going to say. Gable's gone, Coleman's out. They're running from us, right? They're running from us. CLA can't account. Gable's gone, Coleman's out. CLA can't account.
Gable's gone, Coleman's out!
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 When ethnic studies are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back!
When ethnic studies are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back!
When ethnic studies are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back!